Karen smiled and said, "With this little life inside me, we'll be happy." The bride, my sister-in-law whose name was Karen, revealed openly at the wedding with her elite partner that their marriage was due to a pregnancy. It was a shocking confession. Right after that, a small voice echoed throughout the venue. "But Karen, there's no baby in your belly, right?" The 5-year-old girl had just handed flowers to Karen as a flower girl on that day. The comment left Karen pale and deeply shaken. Attendees looked puzzled, exchanging glances. But from the family seats, there was an audible gasp. "That's because we knew about the special ability this little girl, Catherine, possessed." I am Emily, a happy housewife, 32 years old. I married my childhood friend Tom 6 years ago, and now we have an angelic 5-year-old daughter, Catherine. We've built a joyful family. My mother-in-law treats me kindly. I believe we get along well. But there's one person I just can't stand: my sister-in-law, Karen. She tends to say things without considering others' feelings. Karen's idea of speaking her mind often ends up hurting others, and I've been on the receiving end many times. Emily, you really should put more effort into grooming yourself. Your hair is messy, and you have no sense of makeup. I value being true to myself. I prefer a natural look over flashy makeup. That's why I opt for simple makeup. But maybe it's because you have a plain face to start with that you don't stand out. Maybe that's why you ended up marrying my mediocre brother with a low salary. You don't need to go that far. Tom has always cherished you as a sister. He has never spoken ill of you. Not even once. Oh, are you getting upset? I'm just the kind of person who speaks my mind. But I can't imagine settling for someone of a lower rank like you did. Speaking one's mind and disregarding others' feelings are two different things in my opinion. Avoiding my in-laws' place is largely because I can't stand seeing Karen. Then this year, news came that Karen was getting married. I felt relieved and wished her well in her new life, thinking that I might finally feel more at ease visiting the in-laws if Karen wasn't around. When the wedding invitation arrived, there was a surprising request. They wanted Catherine, my daughter, to attend the ceremony. For some reason, Karen never seemed to like my daughter, Catherine, and would make snide remarks every time they met. In fact, Catherine had a unique ability that no one else could replicate, and all our relatives knew about it. One day, at a family gathering, something happened. My uncle's family was planning a trip to the seaside. Without any prior knowledge, Catherine advised, "It's best not to go on the trip." The family, taking her words lightly as just those of a child, went on the trip. Sadly, during the trip, a nephew had an accident in the sea. He was fortunately not critically hurt, but had to be hospitalized for a while, making the trip a bitter memory. Later, the family regretted not heeding Catherine's warning. There was also another incident. As my mother-in-law got older, she began to forget where she placed things. While she was searching for something, Catherine approached and asked, "Grandma, are you looking for Grandpa's precious keepsake watch?" To which the surprised mother-in-law replied, "How do you know that?" Without answering, Catherine said, "It's here, in the wooden box inside the closet drawer." And indeed, the keepsake watch was found there. Why Catherine knew what her grandmother was looking for or what was going to happen was an increasing mystery. However, Catherine always smiled and never spoke about it. Such events were not uncommon in our home. Karen, in fact, did not attend family gatherings often and did not know directly about Catherine's special abilities. But I heard she laughed out loud when she heard these mysterious episodes from her in-laws. One day, when visiting my husband's family home, Karen's attitude was surprisingly cold. "There's no way such unbelievable stories are true. You're just trying to get attention on social media or something by making up stories using a child. That's not true." Catherine really did know. Even though she's still a child, she's trying to deceive adults. If she does that, she'll be punished. At Karen's harsh words, Catherine was taken aback and began to cry. I felt deep down, I should keep my distance from Karen. I asked my husband about the character of Karen's fiancé, wondering what kind of person he was. He was apparently from a very wealthy family, and the two met at a mixer. Karen's aggressive approach led to their relationship, and surprisingly, Karen was the one who proposed. However, when Karen met his parents, their reaction was not good. My husband didn't know the details, but I couldn't help but think Karen probably said something disrespectful again. But why did they decide to get married, even though his parents were against it? Actually, it seems Karen is pregnant. When they heard that, his parents seemed to approve of the marriage. I thought to myself, that makes sense. Having a child can change a parent's perspective. Then, one day, Karen visited our home. Emily, before our wedding, there's a birthday party for his mother. Oh, and I'm planning to bring a really nice cake. I see. I wondered why she was telling me this, but her next words made her intention clear. So, I want to ask you, you're good at cooking, right? Wait, you want me to make the cake? Yes. I'm not very good at cooking. But picking out a store-bought cake is fun too. Isn't that good enough? If I bring a store-bought cake, I won't be able to properly show his parents what a good wife I can be. Why can't you understand something so simple? I was taken aback by Karen's words. Even though she was asking for a favor, her attitude was inappropriate. Had she said, "I'd be happy if I could ask Emily who is good at cooking," I would have gladly helped her. After all, he is the son of a very wealthy family. That's nice for you. A beautiful woman like me can only marry someone like that. Unlike you, I didn't settle. I chose the right person without rushing. Karen was saying whatever she wanted, but I couldn't just sit there and take it. I'm satisfied with my life as it is. People who say things like that are usually the opposite, you know? Always wearing sale items. It's pathetic. Honestly, I was getting irritated by Karen's words. But I thought that once she got married, I would have fewer opportunities to hear such unpleasant remarks. With this in mind, I decided to endure it this time and fulfill her request. I used all my culinary skills to make a magnificent cake that wouldn't be embarrassing to present anywhere. Normally, after making a cake for someone, you would expect to hear words of thanks or how the party went. But there was absolutely no contact from Karen afterward. However, considering Karen's personality, if there had been a problem, she would have raised her voice and complained immediately. So, I positively interpreted this silence as proof that the cake I made was well received. One day, with just a month left until the wedding, Karen visited our house again. Every time she comes over, I can't help but feel uneasy and uncomfortable. Just as I was wondering what she wanted this time, she said she would like Catherine to be the flower girl at her wedding. Now it made sense why she had invited Catherine. But then, unexpectedly, Catherine said something. A wedding? But Karen, maybe you can't get married. Here you go again with your nonsense. You might be a child, but that's rude. I was taken aback by Catherine's words, but the way Karen responded was far too harsh. Yet, she wants Catherine to be her flower girl at her own wedding, conveniently asking this favor of her. I want the flower girl's dress to have lace and be in pink. I want to avoid white as it would clash with the color of my wedding dress. Why choose my daughter? Don't you have other kids you can ask? I did want to ask some other, more suitable kids, but I couldn't find any. So, I'm reluctantly asking Catherine. I was astounded by Karen's attitude, belittling Catherine and then trying to use her for her own convenience. I was filled with anger, and Catherine was visibly upset. So, I showed Catherine a lovely pink dress I found online. Her eyes lit up with excitement, asking, "Can I wear such a cute dress?" Seeing her smile, I felt relieved. That night, after my husband Tom came home from work, I filled him in on the day's events. It's hard to believe that the wedding could fall apart at this point, but if Catherine says so, there might be something to it. Catherine didn't go into details though. Karen has always been a bit odd. Could you look into it just to be sure? I decided to look into it. Shocking information about Karen came to light one after another. In middle school, she harassed a friend who began dating someone she had a crush on, which led to the friend becoming a school refuser. In college, she got caught dating 3 men at the same time, leading to trouble. Apparently, her in-laws had to go around appeasing them each time. Honestly, I could see Karen doing such things. However, this information came from her friends, and there was no concrete evidence. Moreover, it's unthinkable that Karen would admit to any of this being true. As I pondered what to do, the wedding day was drawing near. On the wedding day, Karen wore a simple yet very glamorous and expensive-looking wedding dress. The dress hugged Karen's body perfectly and she looked truly stunning, drawing everyone's attention. Without any exaggeration, Karen really looked beautiful in that dress. She would be perfect if she stayed quiet, I thought to myself, but did not utter a word. The wedding proceeded smoothly, and the time came for Catherine to hand over the bouquet to Karen as the flower girl. Catherine, dressed in a cute pink dress, handed the bouquet firmly to the bride. Watching this, both my husband and I sighed in relief. Suddenly, Karen began to speak into the microphone. "We, along with the little life inside me, will be happy." "But Karen, you don't have a baby in your belly, right?" The hall was buzzing. Did she lie to get married? Is she really pregnant? Voices rose from the crowd. The groom's parents suddenly stood up and, with stern faces, asked Karen, "What do you mean by this?" Naturally, since they were not in favor of the marriage from the start. Karen, now cornered, retorted loudly, "This child is a bit off in the head. She always makes up stories, which troubles our relatives. Please, everyone, just ignore her baseless claims." Catherine began to cry upon hearing those words. I couldn't let Catherine get hurt anymore. "Hold on, Karen. You say you're pregnant, but you don't seem to have any knowledge about pregnancy. You're not even prepared for childbirth. Maybe what Catherine is saying is correct. What are you getting at? I won't let you mislead about my daughter. Let's clarify who the real liar is." I didn't intend to expose the truth in this manner, but I couldn't remain silent any longer. "You claim you're pregnant, but you haven't been examined at a hospital, and there's no sign of a maternity record book. And for someone who claims to be 6 months pregnant, your belly doesn't show at all. Actually, my belly just doesn't show that much. To me, it doesn't seem like you're pregnant at all." At that moment, John, the groom, stood up, showing his emotions. "Did you lie to me about having a child just to get married to me?" "No, I didn't lie. I just mistook it for pregnancy. Such misunderstandings happen, right? But I love you and wanted to marry you. It just became difficult to speak about it." "What?" "I was actually thinking of ending things with you soon. But when you said you were pregnant, I reluctantly agreed to marry, thinking of taking responsibility for the child. I was deceived by you. This is over. But after coming this far, you can't just say you won't marry, right?" "No, it's over. I won't marry. I can't believe this. I never want to see your face again." Karen tearfully tried to appeal, but John's determination was firm, and so were his parents. Karen then turned to me, her face flushed with anger. "This is all your fault. Because of you, my marriage is off. What are you going to do about it? A marriage based on lies wouldn't have worked out anyway." But I needed the money. I was planning to solve various problems with this marriage. "That's right. You owe $15,000, don't you?" "What? How do you know that?" In fact, Karen had previously accumulated debt by lavishing money and gifts on a musician she was infatuated with. Recently, she spent a lot of money shopping for her wedding, thinking she would marry a wealthy heir, even though she didn't have much income. I had heard about this from relatives and acquaintances. Karen probably thought marrying a wealthy man would make it easy to repay her debt. If your daughter hadn't spoken out of turn, I could have gotten married. Because of Catherine, my wedding was called off. So you should pay off all my debt. Excuse me, it's your money you spent, right? It's only natural for you to repay your debt. You're spending money recklessly without a significant income in the first place. Karen was becoming even more agitated and began shouting nonsensical things. But the people in the venue looked at her coldly, The groom and his parents, exhausted, informed everyone at the venue that they were canceling the wedding, and the ceremony was halted. Catherine's prediction, Aunt Karen might not be able to get married, came true. Moreover, Karen was reportedly sued for a crime of fraud and was asked to pay $8,000 by her fiancé. The $30,000 for the wedding expenses was also to be paid entirely by Karen, with her existing debt of $15,000. It seems there's no plan for repayment in sight. Due to these events, Karen was disowned by her parents. I heard she's now living in rundown apartments, hopping from one to another to escape from debt collectors, and working in the nightlife industry. With Karen out of the picture, I no longer have to deal with unpleasant situations and continue to live happier days with my family. Interestingly, Catherine stopped making mysterious remarks. Perhaps this peculiar ability was something unique to her childhood. However, both my husband and I are okay with that. We hope to continue living happily, watching our daughter grow up healthily,